Hello, everybody. I'm Congresswoman Nikema Williams, and I proudly represent Georgia's 5th Congressional District. And I'm sure that you all know by now that President Joe Biden signed into law the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, more commonly known as the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill. As a member of the House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, this law is near and dear to me. Georgia is on track to receive $12.3 billion. That's billion with a B, y'all. Y'all, that's money that will create jobs across our state, reconnect neighborhoods divided by highways, neighborhoods like Sweet Auburn and Summerhill, repair our crumbling bridges, expand service for MARTA, and so much more. You might have heard this already, but Georgia's 5th district is a transportation hub. We're home to the nation's busiest airport and the country's 8th largest rapid transit system, MARTA. Y'all, public transit is about equity, helping everyone get to work, school, and the parts of our community that we all enjoy. It's all about protecting the environment as well, reducing our carbon footprint and emissions. And y'all, that is why I'm especially proud of the tens of millions of dollars that MARTA will get to keep our system that we already have. I always think about legislation in terms of how it benefits people, and that's why I'm having events with community leaders in the 5th district to share exactly how this once-in-a-generation investment will benefit the people right here in Georgia's 5th district. So for today's event, I'm joined by Jeff Parker, CEO of the Metro Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority, MARTA. Mr. Parker, we're going to talk about how this historic investment in infrastructure will impact MARTA's work to keep our region moving. So, Jeff, how are you today?
I'm doing great and excited to be here, and I am so thankful for your leadership around this important issue. So as a resident of the 5th district, I truly appreciate what you're doing for infrastructure.
Thank you so much. So can you start off by just telling us a little bit more about some of MARTA's pressing infrastructure needs?
Yeah, we've got, no surprise to anyone, we've got a lot of needs. And let's talk about our existing system, because that's at the core of what we have. The city, the region has benefited from that. And we're more than 40 years old. So we're at a point in life where we need to start replacing some of our infrastructure. We've begun a big investment around that. And many of these systems are things that our customers don't even think about until they go wrong. Our track infrastructure, our traction power substations that propel the trains, our signal system. And we've got needs and plans to make improvements and overhaul all of these things. And then there's even more needs around the things that our customers directly touch, and that's focused around customer experience, better real-time information about where trains are, better announcements in our train stations. These are all things that our customers rely on. And then file it in the category of little things matter, more bus shelters for our customers to keep them dry while they wait for our bus. And most importantly, I think, is maintaining our stations. We've got 38 MARTA stations, and we need to rehabilitate them all. They're somewhere between 20 and 40 years old, each one of them, and we've got an ambitious plan to rehabilitate them.
So this is all very helpful for me when we're talking about infrastructure, especially as infrastructure ages. And what I heard you say is that MARTA is more than 40 years old. Y'all, MARTA is older than me. So sometimes we have to do a little tune-ups, and we have to make sure that we are getting resources back to the community, and we're doing just that. So I was thinking that it might be helpful for people to see some of the work and improvements that you're planning. So can you take us on a virtual tour of one of your upcoming projects, just so that the people can actually see what's in store?
Yeah, it's really exciting what we're planning on doing at Bankhead Station. So we're going to queue up the video here in a second, and we can fly around Bankhead Station. So here's Bankhead Station. It was built, about 25, 30 years ago, and it's the only platform that only allows 2-car trains. So we can't bring longer trains in there, and that has impacts on how we run service in the core of our system on our east-west line. So this is a rendering and flying around the station. As you can see, the property behind the station is property that we already own. And we have a shorter platform, as you can see, only 150 feet long. And now we're looking at what we're planning on doing, and we're designing this right now. In order to accommodate 8-car trains, we'll have a 600-foot platform, a new canopy to keep people dry, even more exciting, a new entrance into the station. But we also know, and for those people who use this station, we need to improve some pedestrian access to the station as well. So we've got a new entrance, and there's a lot of development happening in adjacent property. So we want to make sure that we're extending this station and expanding the station, not only to better serve the existing riders who use the station, but we know that as development happens around this station, it's going to become a more and more used by the people who work and live around those newer developments that are going to happen. So we're really excited about this, and we're in the middle of designing it. This is the concept that we have now, and it'll just become a better station and a more pleasant area around the station that will help also support the economic vitality of the neighborhoods around the station. I think that's an important piece as well, that we not only need to build a transportation system, in this case a transit corridor, but also make sure that we connect to the neighborhoods that we're serving well. And I believe that this project will do just that.
Well, I'm excited about these updates and the much needed benefit that it will bring to the folks in our community who depend on MARTA daily to get around in our city. And on that note, I'd love to talk a little bit more about equity. I often talk about how my mission in Congress is to center the needs of those most marginalized in our communities. And those are the very communities that often rely on MARTA service as a literal lifeline. So can you discuss some of the ways that your team is working to ensure that all of our communities are connected communities?
Yeah, I think that is one of the most important and impactful things that a transit agency can do. You know as well as I do that our region in the 5th District has grown significantly, but largely MARTA hasn't grown. And so we're now embarking under the support of the City of Atlanta and Clayton County, as well as now the funds that you talked about earlier from the federal government, to do some expansion projects that we know will focus around equity. And 2 of the projects that really come to my mind are in Clayton County, the Clayton County South Lake BRT, as well as the Campbellton Road Corridor projects. We know these are areas on the south side that can benefit dramatically from improvements to transportation and transit. And we believe, and we're going to work with the communities, the City of Atlanta and the cities within Clayton County, to make sure these projects don't just deliver transit needs, but also help in a way that supports the needs of the community and fosters the appropriate economic development for those communities. So we're excited about these 2 projects.
Yeah, that is exactly where I am as well. Like, I never thought that I would get excited about an infrastructure bill, but this bill is, literally once in a generation funding to impact transit, to impact so many things in our communities. So are there any other priorities that you're planning to take on with the infrastructure funding?
Well, we've got so many needs in this community. As we look across all of the MARTA jurisdictions, City of Atlanta, Clayton County, Fulton County, and DeKalb, what we know is that we've got about a $16 billion backlog of projects that we know that we could deliver to improve the assets that we own, our infrastructure projects, but also projects that will expand MARTA and increase our reach. So we're going to continue to work with the communities that we serve to find funding, and ultimately access the federal funds that are now available through this important bill. So thank you so much.
So we're going to wrap up soon, but before we go, I'd love to get your thoughts on how we can continue to support transit beyond the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. This is a landmark investment without a doubt, but as a member of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, I know that it doesn't stop here. As members of Congress, what should we be thinking about down the line to support keeping public transportation thriving and working for everyone?
Yeah, I think, you know, and I know it's a priority of yours and a priority of the president, but it's better linkage between affordable housing and transit. We know that the cost of housing and the cost of transportation is such a huge impact to the bottom line of people's personal budgets and their wallets, and making sure that we can leverage federal dollars to focus on projects that really combine both transit with affordable housing, I think is really going to improve the lives of residents here in the 5th District, the Metro Atlanta area, and all across this country. So we're excited to you know, continue to work with you and others in Congress to focus on that.
Absolutely. So this is a historic investment, y'all, but this is just the beginning. We have a partnership between my office in Georgia's 5th Congressional District and your leadership over at MARTA, and I'm excited about the work ahead. So thank you, Jeff Parker, for joining us today to talk about all things public transit and equity. For those of you tuned in, keep an eye out for more conversations like this about what the historic investments in infrastructure mean for you. You can come back to this conversation and find previous conversations on my YouTube channel, and be sure to subscribe so that you never miss a video. So just search for Congresswoman Nikema Williams. Thank y'all all and have a great day.